Something happened last Christmas that's been scaring the daylights out of me and my buddies ever since. We thought it'd be a good idea to play with an Ouija board, just for laughs. But what we summoned that night, it wasn't laughing. It was Zozo, a demon with a taste for chaos. This is our story, a tale of a Christmas turned nightmare. Last Christmas, me and my buddies, let's call them Jake, Sarah and Mark, we thought it'd be a laugh to mess around with an Ouija board. I know, bad idea, but we were just looking for some holiday thrills, you know. It was a cold December night, wind howling outside, and our cosy little living room was all lit up with twinkling Christmas lights. We set up that Ouija board, not really believing anything would happen. Oh boy, were we wrong. We all gathered round, fingers touching that little planchette thing, and we started asking silly questions. At first, it was all normal, random letters and numbers, probably just us moving it around, right? But then, things got weird, real weird. The room got colder and the atmosphere changed. We all felt it, like something was watching us. Suddenly, the planchette started moving on its own, spelling out Z-O-Z-O. None of us knew what the heck Z-O-Z-O meant, but it sounded creepy as hell. We laughed it off, thinking it was just one of us messing around. But that's when stuff went south. The lights flickered, the air got thick, and a chill ran down our spines. We tried to stop playing, but it was like the board had a hold on us. That's when we started hearing whispers, low, guttural voices saying things we couldn't understand. We felt watched, like eyes were following us everywhere. Shadows moved in the corners of the room, and the air got so heavy we could barely breathe. Out to nowhere, the room filled with this putrid smell, like rotting meat. We gagged, covering our noses, but the stench wouldn't go away. We realised we'd messed with something way beyond our understanding, and panic set in. The whispers turned into growls, and the planchette kept moving, spelling out threats and names none of us recognised. We tried to break away, but it was like an invisible force held us in place. It was like Zozo itself was in the room with us, feeding off our fear. The Christmas lights flickered and shattered, plunging us into darkness. We heard footsteps, scratching sounds, and then a gut-wrenching scream that echoed in our heads. We couldn't see each other, but we could feel the terror radiating off one another. After what felt like hours, the room went silent. The board went still, and the air lightened. We scrambled to turn on the lights, and that's when we saw it. Words carved into the wall, like they were burned into it. Zozo was here. The next day we did some research. Turns out Zozo ain't just some made-up name. It's got a dark history, and people all over the world claim to have encountered this demon through Ouija boards. Our late-night research sessions led us down a rabbit hole of spine-chilling stories. Zozo is said to be a malevolent entity, a demon with a taste for chaos and fear. It supposedly preys on those who mess around with Ouija boards, and its name comes up frequently in these creepy board sessions. Some people even say they've experienced physical harm after summoning Zozo scratches, bruises, the whole 9 yards. We found stories that mirrored our own experience, the cold, the strange smells, the guttural voices. It was like Zozo had a playbook, and we'd unwittingly followed every page. But what really sent shivers down our spines was the fact that Zozo is often associated with possession. Yeah, you heard me right, possession. People claim that after summoning Zozo, their lives take a dark turn, relationships fall apart, bad luck follows them like a shadow, and they feel like they're being watched constantly. Our group wasn't spared either. Jake started having nightmares, vivid and terrifying. Sarah swore she heard voices calling her name when she was alone, and Mark, poor Mark, started acting strange like he wasn't himself. We tried everything to shake off this Zozo curse, burning sage, reciting prayers, you name it. But the unease lingered, like a storm cloud hanging over us. We couldn't escape the feeling that Zozo was watching, waiting for the right moment to strike again. We decided to reach out to a paranormal expert, someone who could make sense of our mess. The investigator, a guy named Dr. Jacobs, told us that Zozo was a tricky entity, manipulating its victims to instill fear. He warned us against engaging with the demon any further and advised us to cleanse our space. We followed his advice, performed some sort of ritual he suggested, salt circles, chants, the whole deal. The air lightened a bit, but the damage was done. We couldn't shake the feeling that Zozo had left a mark on us, a scar that time couldn't heal. Now we live with the aftermath, the eerie occurrences, the whispers in the dark, and the constant sense of being watched. We shared our story to warn others, to let you know that some things are best left undisturbed. Zozo is real, and it ain't playing games. If you ever get the urge to mess with an Ouija board, think twice, because you might just invite something into your life that you can't shake off.